Hey Shooby-Doodlers, well it was inevitable that I would have to do the 3 marker challenge eventually, and this is all because Mikkel SH requested it, and you may remember I recently did I asked you all to do a poll, a questionnaire thing, you know, about what I was going to do on this channel. I said, you know, that I would let somebody choose what I was going to do, and Mikkel was the number that I drew out, and Michael, could be Michael, anyway. He said, Mikkel says, it's up to my discretion how I pronounce it, said that could I do 3 marker challenge, and particularly could I do it with green, purple and pink? Not the most lovely colours. And I've noticed on 3 marker challenges, I've been looking at quite a few just recently, that that quite often they do all somehow manage to have pink in them for some reason, or if they're doing sort of sea creatures, then they have sort of aquamarine or something. So I think there's an awful lot of people actually choosing the ones that they do want, the colours they want, rather than sort of drawing them out at random. So Michael asked me to draw a fantasy character, and this may not be quite what they imagine, but anyway, so I'm going to draw a Tunacorn. Oh dear, so it's like a fish unicorn, and I think the tricky bit is going to be getting this horn. I always find unicorns, the hard bit is to get the horn looking like it's actually coming out of the right place. So in fact I think I want it to be about there. So I tell you what I'm going to do. Roughly at this point here, I am now going to go and, oh, maybe I need to draw the legs coming in there, and I think we'll just see a little bit of leg like that probably. I wonder if we should have little, I think we should have little wings in there as well, maybe. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to scan this, and my Patreon viewers will be able to sort of print this out and draw along with me, and then I'll also do another scan when I've inked it in, so you can just colour it in if you want to. It's going to start around about there, and I'm not going to do a spiral because that's complicated. The hair, because it's kind of a seahorse really, rather, isn't it? So the hair I'm going to do in a kind of seaweedy kind of way, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it kind of like flames. So I want another one coming out about there. So it's kind of seaweed flames, and remember I only have pink and purple and pink and purple and green to do this, so kind of tricky this bit, I think. And now I'll make that come up like that, and then we want some coming kind of behind. It'll probably go like that, and then we'll see a few more bits there. And I need to put the ears in. Would a Tunacorn need ears? No, but it makes it look more unicorn-like, and we're probably just going to see a little bit of ear like that. I'm going to bring this kind of down here, so I want it to look cute as well, so I'm going to kind of give it this little funny little snout and a happy little smile. So then I can put an eye in like that, an eye there. So that one's further around, so it's going to be smaller and more squashed together around there. And I think we're going to get a bit more hair, well, weed or whatever we want to call it. I think we're going to get another bit down, and probably another bit curling around there as well. And then, I don't know, I feel I need just maybe another little bit in there. Good, yes. And then, so now the neck is going to come around here, but first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the hands. Hands? Okay, so it's kind of, there's a hint of mermaid in here as well. And I'm going to give it like a swimming costume as well. So I'm going to go around like that, which means then I can bring the neck around there like that. And so I could have done fish scales, I suppose. but I decided to do swimming costume stripes instead. So I'm going to make it slightly feminine like that, maybe. Just a little hint of chest. And then I'm going to bring these legs out into these 1 and 2. So we're going to go like that. And then we're going to see the other leg to something like that probably, and then this can carry on around, and this is where, to get it nice and smooth, you really need to be moving completely from the elbow, and I'm not. I'm going to rest it entirely on my hand, and that's just years of bad habit, I suppose. Maybe it's time to try and do something about that. It's never too late to break habits. So now I'm thinking this little wings here are going to be a bit like the I think maybe a bit more out that way, and you're not going to see much of that one, I don't think. Let's be hidden behind there, and then we're going to want to see this hand. It's going to be a bit like that, I think, and then we need to kind of think about the stripes. So these stripes are going to be curling around the body like that, and then we probably need to have little leg holes as well, following the curve of the body around with these stripes, and then that'll be pretty sort of straight across. There's a point where it kind of changes direction like that, and I think that's going to be fairly straight there, and then that will curve that way, and then we kind of want a tail, something like that. Okay, when you are sure that the ink is dry, then you can erase all those pencil lines. Now the 3 marker challenge doesn't give you sort of much to really work at, so I'm going to put a fair bit of shading in underneath here, I think. And I'm going to start maybe with these kind of hair flames, like, or the weed, seaweed, whatever it is. So I'm drawing kind of underneath to give it sort of some up and underness, if that makes any sense. To bring the things that are forward, and to send the things that are back further back. And maybe I could put a little bit of kind of texture-wise in there, a little bit in the ears, and under the ears as well, I think, probably. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of, actually I should maybe do a little push stroke like that, so I get the little point at the end of the stroke like that. The horn, I think I can probably put a little bit of something, suggestion of spiral. I don't actually want the spiral, because the spiral just gets messy. I think maybe we could put, I'm going to use a thinner pen here, and so I'm going to put little things on the corners, on the edges like that. So if you put sort of ellipses on the edges first, then you can put sort of circles in the middle, and it'll give a sort of feeling of curvature. I think I put some little spots on here as well, but I'm using a much lighter pen. And then we're going to have a bit of shading underneath the hair there as well, I think. Maybe even a bit of cross-hatching, because it'll be quite dark. And then I think in each of these stripes I'm going to put a little bit of kind of shading on each side. So it's kind of following into each stripe individually. And really, yeah, so I'm going to put some in on this side too, I think. I want a bit of shade down there. This sort of helps give a bit of curvature to the thing as well. I'll maybe change pen here. Oh, I'm going to change back to that thinner pen to be able to get kind of more in, and also because it's kind of further away. And then I'm going to put a bit of cross hatching in there just to kind of send it to the back behind the, that's just to sort of send it behind the first part of the loop there. And then I think we need a little bit of something there, and a little bit of something there. And I keep coming back to the hair part here as well. Not sure about that there. Oh, we need more under there, we need more under there, we need more along there as well. You can can probably carry on playing with this forever and ever and ever and ever. And then I think we're going to need some kind of whooshy, kind of waves, whooshy, watery things, and maybe a few bubbles. Okay, I'm now going to scan this, so if you follow me on Patreon, you'll be able to just colour it in if you want to and see how you do it with the 3 marker challenge. That'd be interesting to see. I chose these particular shades at random, and I would probably not have chosen this pink, but anyway, let's see what happens. I'm going to start. I'll leave a little bit of white there. I'll leave a little hint of whiteness there too. I think that with a kind of a water creature, we want it to look sort of shinier. And I think these legs will also be pink, won't they? So again, I'm going to leave this little bit of white there for shininess, and then probably along the top section there as well, like that. And maybe just a little kind of bit in the middle there too. Actually, this pink is drying a little lighter than I thought it might, so that's a help. Then I think probably the tail might be, before I do that, I'm just going to add in some little circles on the tail as well. So I think we'll let the tail do something very similar. Not quite sure where to put a bit of shine in there. Maybe just along the top there, that'll do it. That makes me think I need to put a bit more shading into there, just to give that kind of separation. Now I'm fairly sure that this hair should start out green. Remember, you do have white as well. You have the white of the paper in your 3 marker challenge. So, but I'm going to add this because this is like seaweed hair. That's the idea of it. I'm really wondering what to do about the water, about the sea. I could just leave it. This might be a sensible thing to do, because otherwise it could get really messy, because I think I'd want the water to be a really pale shade of something, because otherwise it's all going to kind of merge and blend, and so I think I'm going to leave the water well alone. Being green, these little wings, and now I'm thinking maybe there should be kind of spots involved in the flamey bits in the seaweed hair. So if you're doing this on Patreon and you're just colouring it in, I'm afraid these little seaweed circles aren't on the one that I just scanned. It's too late to rescan it. So I think I'm going to have a green and purple stripy bathing costume. And I think this is going to take a little while, so I'm going to speed my way through it. Now here this white section is almost coming to a point where it disappears, so I can bring the highlight now back up to the top of this curve up here. And again, we want the highlight to sort of be fading out round about there, I think, so that we can bring it back in up there. And again, it will kind of fade out there. Maybe see a little bit there. Purple at last. Here we are. Oh, that's quite dark, isn't it? It's quite powerful. Hopefully it'll dry a bit lighter. Now that purple is really quite a powerful colour, but you know, I think maybe I might just use a little bit of it in here to kind of separate the foreground from the background. Maybe I can enhance these little shadows there and down underneath here. And now I feel I need to put a little bit on the leading edge of this tail just to sort of balance up that those little kind of flicks that I put in there. And then maybe I'm just going to use a little bit of green in there. I think we need to kind of make that slightly darker. So I'm going to use the green as a kind of a shade enhancer, I suppose. And also maybe for these spots, maybe a little kind of ring around the eyes, a bit like that. Maybe around the top as a kind of a shadow. I think maybe we need a little bit of that going on there as well, just to bring the horn forward a little bit like that. Oh, we should have some spots on the arms as well, shouldn't we? I can maybe draw them in. I'm being very tentative. Or we could have some kind of green bubbles. Maybe I should have done purple there. Sometimes you can get kind of a bit extra by putting an extra kind of layer of colour on. I don't know, let's see what happens if I do that. I can kind of double up the shade, but I don't know if it does. It does while it's wet, but sometimes it just sort of dries the same. I think we should have a little bit of pink up in the horn there as well. To tell you the truth, I'm very loath to do much more. I'll maybe do a little bit of purple in the wings, like that, and maybe I could add some kind of pink for the... If I do that, it'll send that sort of further back. I think maybe we need sort of pink spots in there just to add a little more kind of texture and interest to it. You know, if I could use any colours, I would use maybe a very pale something or other in the background in the water, but I'm just going to leave that as it is. Trying to make the background out of the same sort of colours and tones is going to be really, really difficult, because it'll just it will just blend into the background. So there we are. I'm rather pleased with that. I've got 1 minute of power left on the camera. I hope you enjoyed that, Mikkel. Make sure you follow me on Patreon and get all those wonderful extras. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and you can support this channel and get so much more on my Patreon page. Click to find out more. Make sure you are subscribed to the Shoo Rayner Drawing Channel on YouTube, and in the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.